All right, welcome, guys. My internet seems a little slow tonight. I do apologize for that in advance. Uh, I am that's why I skipped the already choppy intro. So it's good to see everybody. Um, I don't know. It's a video that I'm about to share. Let's just go ahead and watch that real quick.
Ongoing investigation into a missing 5-year-old out of Oakville. Thank you for joining us for the news at 9. I'm Matthew Smith.
I'm Aliana Gomez. Detectives say the last time they can verify Oakley Carlson was seen alive is nearly a year ago in January. Fox 13 News reporter Jennifer Lee has been combing through some court documents tonight, and she joins us live in the newsroom with some of the disturbing details in this case, Jen.
Um, well, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Um, okay. Hopefully this works out a little better. I do apologize. I don't know if I'm going to be able to share that news clip, but and it seems when I multi-share screens here, everything slows down. So we're going to give it another shot. I had to refresh, and then we're going to give it another shot. Okay. Seems a little better. I don't know what was happening there. All right, let's try this one more time, guys. All right. All right. It seems that video seems to be slowing. Let me try something else. All right. Seems like I'm not going to be able to share a video right now, but maybe if I try something else. But I don't know why my internet's so slow. Everything is going wrong today, guys. My AC's not working, and it's December. It's almost New Year's, and I'm in Tennessee, and it's 70 degrees here, and the AC's not working. And I'm trying not to be in a really bad mood right now. I think this information is so important to spread. All right. Same video, but
news out of Vernon Central High School.
That is where we begin tonight. A 5-year-old girl is missing, and investigators are fearing the worst. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Jamie Tompkins.
And I'm David Rose. You're looking at the parents there now behind bars in Grays Harbor County. The sheriff telling Fox 13 News that they're being held on investigation of manslaughter.
But the pictures that investigators really want you to see are the ones of 5-year-old Oakley Carlson, because if you have seen this little girl in the past year, they need to hear from you.
Fox 13 News reporter Matthew Smith joining us live now from Montesano tonight. And Matt, you were at that search scene just a short time ago. What's the latest?
Well, they had to wrap up because it's just too dark to continue the work up there. We don't know if Oakley is alive or if she's dead. Nobody does. And I tell you what, the Foster family, they are in shock. They feared something bad could happen, but they weren't fearing something like this. Tonight, we're outside the courthouse here in Grays Harbor County because we are expecting charges in the future against the biological parents here. But the bottom line, the thing everybody wants to know, where is Oakley?
Yeah, it doesn't feel real in the worst way.
That's the voice of Oakley's one-time foster dad, in shock at the idea that the sheriff's office, State Patrol, and the FBI are searching for little Oakley Carlson. Today, both Eric and Jamie Joe have waited by the phone, hoping the deputies out here in Oakville would deliver them good news.
I said, please don't give up on me and please don't give up on her, because I felt like in 2019, everybody gave up on us. Everybody gave up on us. And he said, I promise you that I won't give up on you and I won't give up on her.
November of 2019 is when the Hiles last had Oakley. She spent 2 years in their home and thought of them as mom and dad. I'm told she returned to the Carlson home just up this road when another child was born. Deputies tell us the other children in Jordan Bauer and Andrew Carlson's home are safe and accounted for. The parents, however, are behind bars for first-degree manslaughter.
And that's based on the unusual circumstances surrounding the disappearance of their child and the extended amount of time that nobody has seen or heard from the child. We're unfortunately fearing the worst, but we are absolutely praying for the best outcome in this situation.
Neighbors tell me they had not seen Oakley for some time. that the school bus wasn't coming around anymore. Investigators say a concerned citizen asked for a welfare check, and while Carlson and Bauer had spoken with investigators, no one seemed to be able to pinpoint how Oakley turned up missing.
They don't have a great explanation for it.
Now, that concerned citizen, guys, the story that I understand is one of the siblings, the 6-year-old girl, she is friends with the principal of her school's daughter. And so you'll see as things develop, there's she's the one who asked for the welfare check. And apparently she asked for the welfare check because her daughter, Oakley or Oakley's 6-year-old sibling, during the sleepover said that, I think, quote, Oakley is no more, and she was eaten by the wolves.
For us, search dogs were spotted in this neighborhood.
So that prompted, that obviously made the principal very, very, concerned. So she went ahead and she asked for a welfare check, as I understand it.
Neighborhood early this morning, but now dark, the search has been called off for the night. The Hiles are openly blaming the state's foster care system, saying they fear that their social butterfly, a girl that loved Mickey Mouse and maybe dancing just a bit more, well, they fear that she's gone.
We always were concerned that something was going to happen, that because of the process that they went through, the parents went through.
Now, I hate to cut him off because he has all my respect in the world for reasons that I'll state coming up. But notice the pictures of how healthy and happy that Oakley looks that they're showing. Make no mistake, that is while in the custody of these two very, very loving and caring people. They had her living the dream that a 5-year-old girl could be living. Aside from the unfortunate circumstances of her natural parents and what was going on there, but this is the equivalent to angels coming to save a child, just in human form. And I'm not implying these are perfect people. I don't know them, but I have no reason to think otherwise. I have no reason to think that they were perfect for Oakley, for a lack of a better way to put it.
Felt like it was
Very rough.
very rushed.
We have told them several times that this wasn't a safe decision. We begged them, please don't let her go back. Please don't let her go back.
You think that her natural parents were having these professional pictures done and just making her feel like the most loved and appreciated kid? This is all that you're seeing here. You're seeing a happy kid, but you're seeing a happy kid in the custody of foster parents, people who opened their home to a child because it was the right thing to do, because they had love in their heart, and that's the way they wanted to direct it.
Safe to say that emotions for everyone involved in this case are running very high. We have reached out to the Department of Children, Youth, and Family. We have not heard back from them yet, but of course, a lot of these details, this foster family, the background of Oakley, it's all coming out late in the day. So we hope to hear more information about that. We will continue to stay on top of this story. In the meantime, you have neighbors, you have the former foster family, you have investigators, all of them hoping to find Oakley alive. Nobody knows where she is. Again, if you have that picture, we'll put that up on our website, fox13seattle.com. Check it out after the show. Spread it around. If anyone has seen her in the past year, the sheriff's deputies want to hear from you. We're live in Grace Harbor County. I'm Matthew Smith, Fox 13 News.
All right, I'm going to find another video, see if there's one a little bit more current. That's an older one. So let's bring you up to speed a little bit, guys.
Continuing coverage now on the disappearance of Oakley Carlson out of Oakville. For the first time, we are going to be hearing from the school district where the missing 5-year-old briefly attended school.
Fox 13 News reporter Jennifer Lee is live in the newsroom for us. And Jen, this entire investigation seems to have launched because of a concerned principal.
Aliana and Matthew, the Oakville superintendent says Oakley's sister is friends with the principal's daughter and shared some concerning details about Oakley no longer being around. He says school staff are trained every year to report any red flags.
When she was starting to hear some of those
type
words or those
I assumed it was a lady. I'm sorry about that.
Pause.
I assumed that
exactly
the
what she was supposed to
principal
do,
was a lady.
and she followed
Let's
the
hear what he-
protocol. And first thing Monday
Hear
morning,
what
they
he has to
they
say
got a
real
hold of
quick. Sorry about that.
buzzy type.
To report any red flags.
When she was starting to hear some of those buzzy type words or those things that make you as an educator pause, she did exactly what she was supposed to, and she followed the protocol. And first thing Monday morning, they got a hold of the proper authorities, and then the ball started rolling, and that's how this kind of all came about.
Grays Harbor County Sheriff's deputies say the concerned citizen called police after a recent fire at the Carlson home. She reported being in contact with the Carlsons several times, but not once seeing Oakley. Deputies conducted a welfare check earlier this week, and now it's been 4 days since the search team has been looking for the missing 5-year-old on the family property. Under Sheriff Brad Johansson says the likelihood of Oakley being alive is not very good at this point.
After interviewing the parents and the children involved, one of the child involved is a 6-year-old female, and she advised that her sister was no longer around.
Parents Jordan Bowers and Andrew Carlson now face a charge of abandonment of a child. Detectives learned the parents failed to give prescribed medication to Oakley's sister, who is only 6 years old, putting her in danger of physical impairment and possibly even death. This was after the couple was initially arrested for investigation of manslaughter. The undersheriff says detectives are actively pursuing charges related to Oakley's disappearance, which they believe is criminal in nature. Detectives need help establishing a timeline of when Oakley was last seen alive. So far, the most recent date is January 27th. Her parents claim they last saw Oakley alive on November 30th. If you have any information, get in touch with Grays Harbor County Detective. Of manslaughter, the undersheriff says detectives are actively pursuing charges related to Oakley's disappearance, which they believe is criminal in nature. Detectives need help establishing a time.
Okay, so something interesting there. Okay, because what that tells me, based on the charges that they have, because they don't have anything actually connected to manslaughter currently, but they're doing anything that they can to hold them while they investigate. Now, this is something that they don't always do unless they are absolutely sure, in my opinion, that they believe that that Oakley she met her demise at the hands of her parents, and they have some sort of evidence that would indicate this, that would indicate that they need to find more evidence, but they need to hold them. And so this is very interesting to me. Now, another interesting fact is the father, he is an ex-cop. Okay. Now, if you look at the circumstances, you have this fire back in November. They say they saw her November 30th last. I think the fire was like November 4th or something like that. The fire, they say this, they saw her November 30th last. Now, this police officer, this former police officer, he was dismissed of his duties for basically lying, for being untruthful. And I don't know the circumstances of that. That's just what I read. November 6th was the fire. Thank you, Cherry. So now, yeah, our Bowers, that's a different story. So the father is an ex-cop, but when you look at those pictures, which I have in the thumbnail there, if you want to reference back to that, you look at the father, and the father and the mother, both of them. Now, I live in Tennessee, folks. Okay. I live in Tennessee. And do this real quick. And when there's quite a meth epidemic here. And after a while, I mean, you live in Miami long enough, you could spot a crackhead. You know what I mean? And you live here in Tennessee enough, you could spot a meth head. And they're pretty obvious. Now, one thing that I find interesting is when I think about the fact that he's an ex-cop, well, let's think about the things that he knows, right? He knows that there's a process to arresting people. The same thing that I'm always explaining here, folks. I'm always explaining that there's always a process, because what you're trying to do is collect that's going to be enough to convict a court of law. This guy understands due process from beginning to end. He absolutely understands due process from beginning to end. So he knows what they're going to look for. He knows how long they're going to look for it. He knows what type of evidence he's going to have to give. He knows what they're going to do with that evidence in order to process it. He knows how long it's going to take to process. This is a guy who understands due process. And someone who's a meth head, who this guy clearly is, because he tested positive for meth when they tested him. And when you look at these pictures that I'm showing right here, these are pictures of the house fire, okay? Pictures of the house fire. And now, listen, before I continue, I want to be clear. I'm not a fire expert. I'm not somebody who has been educated formally in I'm not a fireman. I don't know how a burning building works. I don't even know how fire works, other than if I spark it with some fuel, you get a flame. That's all I know pretty much. And I'm looking to see that this door right here doesn't look burnt at all. I do see some bubbling right here. I do see some bubbling right here in the paint, or wallpaper, or whatever that is. But I see this couch burnt to hell. Now it's possible the firefighters got there early enough to put the fire out. That's quite possible. This is that couch. It's better view of it. It seems to be the only thing that actually really burned. That's what I find interesting. Seems to be the only thing that seems to have really burned for the most part. Now, obviously, you got flames that went up to here, burned the light bulbs, melted them. You can see the light bulbs melted here in this ceiling fan. The ceiling fan's made of wood. So, I mean, again, I don't know how this works. But see this cabinet back here? This kitchen armoire type thing. It's not an armoire, but it's a kitchen cabinet set type thing here. They got a little elliptical bike over here on the side to the right. I don't know if the paint job was like this prior on the ceiling, but it looks, the cabinet thing looks pretty intact. It just doesn't look like the fire. It looks like it was a big enough fire to cause a lot of damage, but maybe not spread enough. But what was the cause of this fire. I'm curious about that. And it happened so close to her disappearing. Now, I don't know if anything happened to Oakley in that fire. But nobody has seen Oakley since, I think it was, I mean, it's been like 9 months since they've seen Oakley, since they say Oakley was seen. All right. I'm going to play another video. I'm just going to keep sharing this stuff because I think it's important. Sorry, hold on.
Cooperative. Fox 13 News reporter Hannah Kim is in Oakville at the center of this active search underway right now.
Around 7 different agencies are desperately searching for 5-year-old Oakley Carlson. Beyond this crime scene tape is Carlson's property, and in the past 48 hours, law enforcement officials have been searching it, but so far, all they have, they say, are parents who are uncooperative, and they still don't have an exact time frame of when Oakley went missing. The desperate search for 5-year-old Oakley Carlson is centered around this home and the 300 acres that come with it. As crews canvass and dig for any clues today, it's heartache and anger for those who love Oakley.
It's hard to find time to be sad when I'm just so angry.
Jamie, Joe, and Eric Hiles were Oakley's foster parents and had her for almost 3 years before the state and the courts decided to give Oakley back to her biological parents in 2019. Now those parents, Jordan Bowers and Andrew Carlson, are behind bars facing manslaughter.
Yo, look at that, dude. Yo, look at where they picked their skin. You know what I'm saying? Look at the complete blank look in their eyes. They just cold, man. Cold. I feel like I already played this video, but whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to go with it.
They're searching for any possibility. Though we are absolutely still holding out all hope that we will locate Oakley alive, we also have to realize that it's possible that she is deceased.
The mystery of it all made worse with investigators now looking into a fire that happened at the couple's home in mid-November. A GoFundMe account was set up by a friend of the couple showing the damage to the home, claiming the parents did not call 911 because they couldn't find their phones.
It is unusual that a fire department wouldn't be called, I would say.
But Jamie Joe did call the Department of Children, Youth, and Families right before Thanksgiving when she saw that GoFundMe account, worried about Oakley.
So they didn't even call 911, people. Like the house caught fire and they said, oh, we didn't call 911 because we couldn't find our phones. Neither one of y'all could find your phones, huh? I mean, now I could see, okay, maybe the phones were in the fire. I'd like to find out if the phones were in the fire, but we couldn't find them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Would they like go back in the house after the fire department put out the fire and they found their phones? Because I bet you they had their phones afterwards.
If nobody's seen her, like, what could have happened to her? Was it the fire? Was it something else?
The foster parents say they called DCYF not just last month, but in January of 2021 after becoming suspicious after getting some news about Oakley.
I am so disappointed, and what a failure from the state of Washington. What a failure for those kids.
The Grays Harbor Sheriff's Office says they only found out about Oakley 2 days ago when an associate of the couple called to say they had not seen Oakley in a while.
I knew the father from high school, and the person he is now is not who he was at all in high school.
Andrew Carlson is a former Aberdeen police.
That's interesting. Okay, so he knew him in high school. He's like, it's just not even the same guy. Like, it's crazy. But now we're going to find out a little bit more about homie here.
Officer, this is him in 2012 and now today. The Hiles, they are in shock over the fallout. But the most difficult thing right now is not knowing what happened to the little girl they always wanted to adopt.
She was so kind and smart, and she loved to read.
She
Absolutely
loved to read.
She would fall asleep with books in her bed. So
Yeah, it was always one more book, which how can you say no to that?
Andrew Carlson was decommissioned at the Aberdeen Police Department in 2017 for making false and misleading statements. As for DCYF, we reached out to them about this case, but they say they cannot make any comments specific to this case. We did file a public
Of course
disclosure
not.
request,
Of course they
hoping
can't.
to uncover more information. In Oakville, Hannah Kim, Fox 13 News.
Of course they can't give any more information because they're accountable. They're responsible. I mean, you can't say that they're not. And here's the thing. We should be just as angry as Oakley's foster mom. We should be just as angry as Jamie Joe, I believe her name is. And she actually was kind enough to join the Dad Challenge podcast panel. He was great last night, man. And the thing is about Josh, he was genuinely upset. Josh is a foster parent, and we are very much in agreement, that this is something that needs to be spread. We need to shake some fences and make people more aware. And here's the thing: is it's strange how this case came to me. I'm going to read you guys an email. My computer is really acting up. Like the screen keeps going blank. Maybe. I don't know. My screen keeps going blank, so it's weird. I don't know. But I'm going to read you guys an email real quick because it's very important. So I get this email, I read it, and it says, Will, I want to say her name is Crystal. I'll just say that because her last name's here too. I don't want to dox her. Will, could you please cover the Oakley Carlson case? She's from Washington State and has been missing for a year after the state of Washington sent her back home to her parents. I'm a foster parent in the state, and the way this case was handled is awful. Oakley's older sister has made statements about Oakley being ate by wolves, etc. Both mom and dad are in jail at the moment on different charges. Oakley was missing for over a year without the state checking in on her like they're supposed to for a minimum 6 months after she was returned home to her parents. Interesting. The case needs more attention to help find Oakley. Her foster parents have tried everything they can under the power, everything they can. Sorry, I lost my place here. Her foster parents have tried everything they can under their power to get her story out into the media. They do currently have her siblings. The Facebook group for Oakley is Oakley Carlson, Oakville, Washington. Okay, so I would imagine that if you can somehow join that Facebook group, you could probably get more information on what you can do, because this is tragically a case where the system failed this kid. And unfortunately, it's yet another one. So as soon as I got this, I sent it in the group text with Josh and Annie because it immediately infuriated me. And they have, rather large platforms, and I know that they will do everything they can to help this cause. I believe Annie, I didn't get to catch it, unfortunately, but I believe Annie did something regarding another case where the system had failed a child. And This is what needs to be the focus, because this child should have never been sent back to those parents. Something seriously wrong took place in the process through DCYF and the judge that made this decision. And you could see this very loving foster family. You could see them and how much they cared for Oakley, how much they did for her, how much Oakley did for them emotionally. You could just see it. And so we know that the problem really isn't loving people out there that are willing to take in kids and give them a good home. The problem is the process in which they either get to go or stay. And this is something that we all need to be made aware of. This is something that we all need to do our part and help share. And Josh doing this last night and doing it with such passion the way that he did, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Josh is also a fostering parent. And anybody who does that has my full respect as a human. I've had foster parents take me in. I was in the system for a little while. And when I mentioned that in his chat last night, somebody may have misunderstood. I mean, they did it in a way of empathy, because they were like, "I'm sorry that happened to you," and it was like, "No, it wasn't that," because I was making the point that the kid doesn't have a say. You know, they just move you wherever they move you, and they just say, "Hey, this is where you're going. Pack your stuff. This is where you're going. We're taking you someplace. We're taking you someplace else." That's just how it works. Because the question came up of whether or not a child has the choice. But that was really the point I was trying to make, because I was lucky. You know, there was no real reason to say, "I'm sorry that happened to you," because I was lucky. The system didn't fail me. Maybe it was during a time where I was, it was where I was living, and the time it was the 80s, you know? So I was in the system between the ages of, I want to say 10 and 12, 10 through 12, actually. So ages 10 through 12, I was in the system. And it was sad, you know, because I mean, no kid's happy to be in the system unless they were like in the worst possible abusive, you know, environment. You know what I mean? And I met kids like that. You know, I hung out with kids like that. I lived with kids like that. And it was, you know, this was a case where the system actually worked. So the point I'm trying to make is, I happen to know for a fact that it can. I know for a fact that it can. So all we have to do is demand more. All we have to do is start putting a big spotlight on these child services and these judges and family courts. We have to just put a big spotlight on them. We have to demand that there's a spotlight on them. If you have not done so already, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw my tweet most likely. But what we want to do is get Brian Netton on this and get him to start putting as much into this case as he did with the Gabby Petito case. This is the kind of story that needs just as much attention as the Gabby Petito case, because this is where we can really make a difference. This is where we can really help other kids. And so what we're doing right now is on Twitter, we're tagging Brian Enton, we're tweeting him to please look into this case, please take it on, please expose all the information that you get, and we're using the hashtag answers for God, sorry, I had a brain fart right there. Answers for Oakley. Sorry about that. So hashtag answers for Oakley. God, there's so many missing kids. I'm so sorry, guys. And it's that's actually gonna bring me to another point coming up. Now, some might be thinking, well, if the police are presuming that she's dead, there's really not a whole lot we can do, because you're thinking on terms of a crime case. Well, you are. I'm talking about a different crime case that isn't really being talked about in this crime case, a crime case within a crime case. And that crime that took place is a very, very, very flawed system designed to protect our children. Because she should have never gone back to that environment. And obviously she wasn't checked on. According to that email that I got, she wasn't checked on. Nobody followed up. They say, oh, well, she's with her natural parents. Case closed. That's it. No, because she had to have been taken away for a reason. You know what I mean? She had to have been taken away for a reason. There had to be a reason she wasn't there. So it stands to reason. And I'm not necessarily judging people who have their kids taken away. Okay? I'm not. People have their circumstances. People have their personal lives, and however it happens. And if they're unfit parents, they might be unfit parents for whatever reasons that you may not understand. But they may still be unfit parents. And it's a good thing that the kids get taken away and put somewhere where they're taken care of. The problem is they either put them in homes that are worse, or they put them in a home that's good, like in this case, and then take the kid away. Now, here's the thing. I think it's safe to speculate possible corruption. Because this man is an ex-cop. What possible reason could there have been other than just, people being lazy and not doing their job because they don't care? That's a possibility and even a likelihood, really. It's more of a likelihood than what I'm getting at. But I'm thinking maybe the dad having, being a police officer, I mean, he probably knew people in DCYF. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he know people? If he's a former police officer, he's probably had to deal with these people in certain situations where he's had to take a child out of a home. There was a domestic issue that he might have had a call on. All kinds of scenarios why he would be working side by side. Spent a lot of time in a courthouse. You know what I mean? Could be all kinds of things, right? But no matter what it is, we have to demand that it's looked into and corrected. Because the priority for every employee that works in that end of the system, the priority should be taking care of the kids, making sure that the kids are safe, doing what is best for that child. So yeah, if you have Twitter, please tag Brian Enton, hashtag answers for Oakley. I believe Annie came up with that. Yeah, it's this is the kind of case that really, 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 really gets to me. And it was painful. It was bittersweet to see Oakley's foster family, just a bunch of people caring and they were in the chat, participating in the chat. Jamie Joe, she helped. She got on panel and spoke to Josh. And you heard her say it. You heard her say it. Washington State failed Oakley. This is a failure on Washington State, on the state of Washington. It just is. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. We're seeing every reason why that child should never have been put back in the custody of those two people. Now, yeah, an L on the state of Washington for sure. Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, does CPS need more funding? Sure. I think so. I do think so. But, you know, it needs better people. Now, is good funding going to provide better people? Is it going to be an incentive for better people, for people to care more? You know, I mean, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not an expert on these things. All I know is that I care. And if you're anything like me, you can do just as much as I'm doing. All I'm doing is putting the word out. That's all I'm doing. So literally every single person in here that genuinely cares and thinks that it's important to protect our kids, especially these underprivileged ones. These kids never asked to come into this world, man. You know, they never asked to be here. And they sure aren't responsible for their actions to the point, especially not a 5-year-old little girl, to where she's going to end up in the system. Sure, she didn't ask to be put in the system. Because if a kid doesn't have the say to go where they're going to go, well, it stands to reason that if the state is charged with the responsibility of making decisions on behalf of this child, well, then they have to make sound decisions, don't they? Is that unreasonable that we demand that? I don't think that's unreasonable in the slightest bit. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how deep I'm going to go into speculating as to what happened to her. The thing is law enforcement is giving us, you know, I can't even find descriptions of her online. I thought it was just because I'm bad at Googling, right? So I asked Cherry to do it. Never seen a missing kid where there wasn't a description of the child found anywhere online where it's a high profile case. Never seen that in my life. But what that indicates to me is law enforcement pretty much presumes that she's gone. And based on the information that they've shared with us, well, I have every reason to believe that too. See, people are comparing this to the Summer Wells case. This is nothing like the Summer Wells case. Well, innocent until proven guilty, okay. In a court of law, sure. And in the court of public opinion too, if it's done responsibly. But think about it. This is the court of public opinion where enough evidence has been presented to us to pretty much come to a common sense conclusion. And again, we're following law enforcement. Now, don't get me wrong. I hope with all my heart that law enforcement's wrong. I hope with all my heart that this little girl is found safe. But considering what we know, I mean, you've got this couple that's pretty much acting like the Laundries and just shutting down, and they're not cooperating. Why wouldn't you even show the slightest indication that you miss your child or want them back? I just simply don't think that it's necessarily productive to speculate on what happened to this child when we have enough information to where I think I know enough. I know enough. Truth is, I'd rather focus on fixing the problem because we are in a unique position to do so, people. This is one of those cases where, okay, that's secondary. Getting all the information and trying to understand how the crime took place, why the crime took place. This is one of those rare cases where that is a distant second in following a case like this, because this is a rare occasion where we can actually make a difference. We can actually work towards fixing a problem. Because the truth is, people, you may not like what I'm about to say, but meth heads, they're going to meth head. You know what I mean? Meth heads are going to meth head. I'm not in the least bit surprised that two people like this could have done something to that little girl. I'm not in the least bit surprised. And I'm not saying it's just because of meth. I'm saying why they do meth. Because they're just bad people who don't care about consequences, don't care about doing the right thing. They got kids, and those kids are a distant second or third or fourth or God knows what. But they clearly cared about themselves more than they cared about these kids. Because one wasn't even getting her medication, which was vital to her physical well-being. So I know enough, man. I know enough to where I'm like, okay, law enforcement, do your thing. They're in custody. They are looking for evidence, and they're confident enough to keep them in custody because I think they know they're going to find something. I think they are very confident in finding something. They're so confident in finding something that they're keeping them in custody. Yeah, well, these weren't teenage delinquents. This was an ex-cop. So in covering this case, I want to go ahead and say that, Crystal, I hope you're listening or you'll catch the replay. But please contact me again, if you will. But I want to thank Crystal for sending me that email and providing me with this information that blessed me with an opportunity to be able to do my part in something like this. And that gave me that inspired me to make this next decision where I'm going to start giving out my email again. Or you can use the email that Cherry provides. And any case, I'm asking you guys, everybody who listens to this, any case that comes up, okay, comes your way where it looks like the system failed a child, I want to know about it. Please email me the information and I will look into it and we will talk about it. Because I think the very first step in making a difference here is exposing how big of a problem this actually is. not just the high profile ones. How big of a problem is this? We need to be able to show this so that more people get involved and more people care. So I'm really glad that Crystal sent me this because it's given me some inspiration to want to do more. And I am always grateful for something like that. So, yeah. So again, that make sure you also tweet Brian Enton when you get a chance. Make sure to tweet him and kindly ask him to help us bring awareness to this problem. And don't forget to hashtag Answers for Oakley. Yeah, I mean, and like and share and subscribe. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram too, but I'm not real active on Instagram. Kind of active on Instagram. I'm not really active on Twitter either, but when it comes to sharing information, yeah, I think I'm going to do I think I'm going to be tweeting a lot more. Oh, we don't have any snow, man. It's like 70 degrees in here. It's hot, sweating, and there's and it's raining outside too. Hopefully that brings in a cold front. I mean, it's about to be January, people. Thanks, Mallory Doyle. Yeah, this is, and I'm going to move on because, you know, I still got to talk about certain things, man. And I think it's really important. Sorry, you can actually hear the rain coming down really hard out there. I think it's really important to understand that this is nothing like the Summer Wells case. There is nothing to indicate, absolutely nothing that is to indicate to us, okay, that Don and Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. We don't have any idea what happened to Summer, even though we don't have any idea what happened to Oakley. We don't. But we have a couple of parents whose children were taken away and then returned to them and have not cooperated with law enforcement at all and gave very, very, very bad stories that don't make any sense. And it's almost like they don't care that the stories make any sense. Totally uncooperative. We tend to forget that Don and Candace actually passed lie detector tests. We tend to forget that they've cooperated 100% of the way, and we've heard law enforcement tell us this. And again, I'm not saying they're innocent. I don't know. My point is neither do you. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that as careless as they've been on social media, that they're as careful to not slip with anything. And yet they're still being harassed. Let me read you guys. I got into it. I got into it with somebody on somebody's thread. Okay. I'm going to read you. I'm not going to read you the whole debate. I'm just going to read you how I shut the debate down. I said you started off giving a perfect example of hearsay, followed by an attempt in justifying your part in spreading it. Okay. Now, I want to be clear about this. I want to be clear that I have been trying to make the difference when it comes to the Summer Wells case between fact and hearsay and speculation based on hearsay and rumors. Okay. I've been trying to make this a point that people see this and understand, right? Because I go on the thing and it's somebody talking about, like somebody was talking about the body. It was a live stream about whether or not the body that was found in Knoxville, or the human remains, I should say, that was found here in Knoxville or in Knox County, whether or not they were Summer, right? And the thing is there's no information on that right now. There's a forensic team that is inspecting and studying and examining this, human remains. But it has not been determined what gender or whether or what age or any identity whatsoever. No indications of any identity at all. Only that they're human remains. That's all we know, is that they're human. Right? So just because it's found in the same state, we're jumping to the conclusion that it's Summer. I mean, Knoxville's an hour away from Rogersville, man. You know what I mean? It's an hour away. Could be anybody. Literally could be anybody. So I honestly, all I'm saying is we're not in a position to make that assumption or even speculate on it. There's nothing to speculate on. It's a body in Tennessee, in the same state. States are big. You know what I mean? So there's nothing to speculate on. I mean, whatever that video was, probably just is really just clickbait. Let me just do something. Let me just talk about this, right? And then they brought in somebody who came off like they were familiar with the case, and then they were talking about the barrel, the water barrel the technical term for it is a rain barrel that was found in the video, that's spotted in the video, that says for sale on it, right? So I commented and said, that's a rain barrel. It's commonly used to collect rain, and you can actually sell rainwater to people to help them grow their grass or whatever. Don and Candace are very poor people. This is no secret. So it makes sense to me that they would find any little way to make an extra buck. It does not. So they're saying because in this TikTok video, it's Summer's dancing next to it and the thing says for sale, that they're basically, PIMPing her out. And I don't think that that's the case. And I have nothing to make me think that, because that's not enough. Not nearly enough. That's just some conspiracy theory crap That's some tinfoil hat stuff. Ooh, look. No, man. That doesn't make sense to me at all. And anybody who lives in a rural part of the South will tell you that that's a very common thing to do, is to sell rainwater to people because it gets very dry here. So I basically explained this very shortly. I explained this, and then somebody comments, "Oh, well, Don's sister said that he's tried to sell her and tried to sell one of his boys and blah, blah, blah." All hearsay, man. All hearsay. And something that's hearsay, by definition, really is nothing but a rumor. It can't be confirmed. It's just hearsay. It's just something you heard. You know what I mean? It's just something you heard, man. It's nothing. It means dick. And I'm trying to explain to them, like, you can't accuse somebody who might be missing their child more than anybody in the world. You can't accuse them of this stuff. You can't just take their past and throw it in their face, because these things that they have done in the past does not mean that they don't love their daughter. To make them a shitty person, if it's true, yeah, but we don't even know. So we went back and forth, and she was actually pretty articulate, not an unintelligent person, just, applying ignorance. I wouldn't even say, I don't know the person. I'm not going to say that she's an ignorant person, but she was definitely applying ignorance, which is basically not applying any type of thought, because she didn't want to hear what I was saying, right? If we're talking about the crime and the entire point is what happened to Summer, right? Well, that's got nothing to do with what happened to Summer. So I explained, you started off giving a perfect example of hearsay, followed by an attempt in justifying your part in spreading it, because that's technically what she did. She went on a public comment thread and made these allegations, right? And I said, the point is that these allegations, that if these allegations are true and she wants justice for it, she would likely bring charges against him, which she hasn't, talking about Don's sister. Okay. But I digress, because we're off the point, which is exactly my point. One has nothing to do with the other. There is absolutely no proof that we have been made aware of that Don Wells had anything to do with his daughter's disappearance. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary based on what LE has made us aware of. Okay? And that's a fact. But this does not mean he's innocent either, which is also a fact. It simply means that common sense, along with goodwill, which I put in quotations because she said something about it means goodwill if you absolutely take this woman's word for it and don't call her a liar, which I'll get to that point too. Goodwill would dictate that the right thing to do is assume that this man loves and misses his daughter, no matter whether or not we approve of his strange behavior on social media. Our place is to let the trained LE agencies, law enforcement agencies, perform the task they're charged with without muddying waters. If for even the only reason that bombardment of this family with rumors and speculations based on hearsay might affect their inclination to cooperate with the investigation. That is if our true concern is finding out what happened to Summer and, God willing, finding her safely. Now, I want to be clear about that one more time. Let me make this point again. If for the only reason to not spread rumors, to only go by fact, okay, Speculate only on facts that you know. Nobody's telling you not to speculate. Just do it responsibly. Nobody's telling you not to do that. So if for even the only reason to do that is that the bombardment of this family with rumors and speculation based on hearsay might affect their inclination to cooperate with an investigation. So basically every time, every time that you harass this family, every time that you go on a public platform and accuse them of things and attack them and get people making phone calls and crank calls to them, that would make them say, you know what? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it inspire them to just be like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I just want to move on with my life. Stop dealing with this abuse. Because right now, whether you like it or not, whatever you think of Don and Candace Wells, if you actually care about Summer Wells being found, if you actually care about this, then you would understand, you would let it sink in, the reality and the fact that Summer's only chance of being found are the law enforcement agencies charged with the responsibility of finding this little girl because they are trained to do so, and Don and Candace's cooperation with them to do it. That is a fact that can't be denied. That's common sense. Sheriff Lawson warned about this. You are directly interfering with an open investigation. And that investigation, the purpose of it is to find a 5-year-old little girl that is missing. We don't know what happened to her. There's no evidence of foul play yet. They're not dismissing the possibility of foul play. Okay? Since we don't know anything, that does not give you the right to make things up. So since we don't know anything, the ethical thing to do, the empathetic thing to do, not just for Don and Candace, but for Summer and for the people trying to do their job and find her, is to make that as easy for them as possible. And doing what they ask. Stop muddying the waters. Stop making up stuff on social media. It doesn't help. We've already seen that Don Wells loves to go on YouTube panels. We've already seen that Candace is no stranger to doing that either. Not as much as Don. But we see him get a little more frustrated each time. And that's not going to make him break to admit something. Because guess what? Even if it did, that would be the same thing as a cop beating somebody in an interrogation room to get a confession from them. Because, yeah, it's the same thing. If you're saying it's not, it's the same thing. That is as useful as that confession. It is absolutely as useful as that confession. Because you people are beating them and beating them and beating them and beating them. And they are going to grow to be less and less cooperative with law enforcement moving forward. That's a fact. It's common sense. God, I was listening to this live stream earlier today. I was listening to the Boob Patrol, whatever the Scooby Boob gang. And they were they weren't talking about anything useful at all. They were just trashing Don, bragging about the fact that Bullhorn Boob got him on the phone at one point, and he was at his wit's end. Actually, let me play that for you. Let me go ahead and play that for you, as a matter of fact. First of all, it was mind-blowing what I was. Hold on. Sorry, I had to find it. And my phone is acting weird, so I actually have to send it somewhere. So I'm just going to send it to Cherry, and then I'm going to play it.
That's the only time he ever says anything. And that's... Man, you know what? You know how many, for reals, honestly, TBI has investigated our property. They tore our house apart 7 times. They turned everything on this property upside down at least 7 times. And then some send other people up here and turn this property.
Now, I don't know how much of that is true, other than the only thing that I do know that is true is they have thoroughly searched that property. They have. They've thoroughly searched that property. And they did it like 6 months ago. So now I don't know. I don't know how many times they've searched the property, but I know that they've searched the property and they did it thoroughly.
I believe that. Inside out. Right. You think you're the only ones? But Don, this is what my problem is. You've only looked. No, you know what my problem is? You guys are renegades. I've had professional law enforcement up here. TBI.
Now, this is his argument. This is what's funny. This is something else that makes me feel that he cares about finding Summer, because people are acting like he doesn't. He's saying the same thing that I've been saying. You guys are renegades. He doesn't really know how to explain it too well. But they're just making a clown out of him on this channel, right? And that's Bullhorn Boob on the phone with him. And they're just making a clown out of him, right? But he's trying to explain it the same way. He's trying to explain the same thing that I've been explaining. You guys are renegades. I've had professionals up here. That's my problem with you. You guys are just looking for, he doesn't even understand the concept of looking for content. He doesn't understand the concept of clout. He's not a YouTuber. He doesn't understand this. He's just like, I'll talk to whoever I got to talk to. Somebody who's guilty of something, he's not going to jump on every opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to you know what I mean? He's always talking about Summer. He's always talking about, you know, I mean, people ask him hard questions and he answers them, you know, and he gives some weird answers. I get that. I understand that. But the guy, again, is completely out of his mind on God knows what. He's clearly under the influence. That's no good to me. If I'm trying to, and I've explained this before, if I'm trying to get something out of this dude and I want it to hold any water, I don't want it from him when he's intoxicated. He could just be like, I was drunk, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? I was drunk and sick of all this. I got mad and I just said whatever.
There was almost 200 different agencies up here looking for Summer. And you guys think you're about something and you don't listen. You do not listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
Now, that's a good point right there. I'm telling you the same thing over and over again, and you're not listening because you just keep digging and digging and digging at me. Your mind is made up about something based on you not having any information. If you want information, ask me. Do it properly. Sit me down and ask me the right questions. These are the wrong questions. You're just asking him about his personal life. You're asking him about his past. You're digging up the guy's past. Nothing that has to do with Summer. These people don't know any of the details that took place in the Summer Wells case. None of the details. They found out certain locations and went there and took selfies. That's all he did. And this man is like sick of it. And I don't blame him.
No, we don't. That's the problem that you have. That's all we have right now. You're not listening.
Now,
Up here looking for Summer. And you guys think you're about something and you don't listen. You do not listen to what I'm trying to tell you. No, we don't.
okay, right there, Bullhorn Boob just goes, no, we don't listen. You're talking to the person who you believe perpetrated a crime and you're not listening to anything that he's saying. You're admitting that you choose not to listen to him. You're basically admitting that you are getting this simply to play it on Molly's bullshit channel and get notoriety for it. Promote your channel. That's all you're doing. And he called you out on it. He just didn't really know how to word it. But he basically played a mind trick on you without even knowing it. And you fed right into it because you're a boob. You're an idiot. I'm sorry, but you are. I mean, get real, dude. He totally Jedi mind tricked your dumbass to admitting that you don't care about finding Summer. Because if you cared about finding Summer, every word that comes out of this guy's mouth is going to be something that you're going to want to remember. Especially if you think he's guilty of something.
That's the problem that you have. That's all we have right now.
That's the problem that you have.
All right, we want to listen. We want to listen.
Oh, now you want to listen.
Okay, that's fine. Who took her? That's the question. What can we do to help?
Nothing.
Well, thank you.
See, now they're just laughing at him.
Right now.
Wow.
All right, we want to listen. We want to listen. Was abducted. Okay, that's fine. Who took her? That's the question. What can we do to help? Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. No, like you can't do anything because you haven't done anything. But
We need to be his friend. That's how we can help. Be his friend. We miss her. We fucking cry every single freaking day for her. She was our beautiful angel.
He's begging them. He doesn't know how else to word it. He's an old-fashioned guy. He's not cultured the way that even these idiots are. He's not. And he said, be my friend in desperation. Be my friend. Meaning try to understand where I'm coming from just for a minute. Just for a minute, trying to understand the position that I'm in. Have a little empathy. That's why he starts going into, we cry every day. And this doesn't help. You think that abusing these people every single day for the sake of entertaining a bunch of horrible people in your chat and exploiting money from them, you think that that's in Summer's best interest in any way, shape, or form? You think that getting thousands of people to abuse these people is going to make them more inclined to cooperate, have a clear head? When a police officer, when a police detective wants, say, a parent of a missing child to help them with their investigation, and that parent is hysterical, what does that detective do? They say, hey, hold on, let me get you some water, but I need you to calm down. Okay, just try to breathe. Take some time. Take your time. Because they want them calm. They want them as clear-headed as possible to get the best possible credible information from them. That's why. No other reason. They're doing the opposite. They're trying to drive this guy crazy. They're trying to drive him to do something that they can justify their actions for. That's all they're trying to do. They are abusing this person to the point to where he lashes out. And he's already let off steam and gotten caught for it a couple of times. Now, I'm saying he's responsible for his own actions, but I'm saying you're responsible for your own actions too, because you are pushing this. You're making this not only more possible, but more likely. And you guys are going to be happier than ever when he ends up doing something that you get to throw more abuse for and say, see, I was right. When no, everyone has a threshold. Everyone has a breaking point.
It's nonsense. Every single fucking YouTubers come up here and act like all that. So
that's all I had of it. But he was already losing it. Effing YouTubers coming up here and acting like they're all that. He's right to feel that way. He's absolutely right to feel that way. Do I indicate to you? Is there anything about me that indicates to you that I give a shit what Dr. Phil thinks? I care what law enforcement thinks. Until that day comes, where law enforcement brings us up to date to where they're at and says something more, then we can't discuss an ongoing investigation. Sorry. I don't know who Ali is. No, Lori Barlow, they should be helping law enforcement. They should be helping law enforcement and letting them do their jobs is what they should be doing. Not harassing this man. Not poking a bear or a lion. Because if they believe him to be guilty and they want him to go to jail and they had any common sense at all, they would let law enforcement just find out what's wrong, because they're under the impression that they know more than law enforcement, which is why they're organizing some ridiculous thing in front of the TBI headquarters here in Knoxville, which I plan on being there for, unless whatever circumstances take place. But I plan on being there. And okay, see, I love this. This is just funny to me. So the Green River killer passed a polygraph. So, yeah, they've been done before. You're going to tell me that 2 people passed polygraphs? And the chances of that are astronomical. I don't care what you say. 2 people passed them. And they've cooperated every step of the way. And this poor man can barely put words together on a phone call because he drinks so much. That's the only reason that I can imagine. There's no way that somebody that drinks as much as he does, pulled off the perfect crime and has had law enforcement chasing their tails for the last 6 months. You're never going to convince me of that. You're just never going to convince me of that. And what they're doing is they're putting others in danger or himself. And that doesn't do anything to find Summer or what happened to her. That doesn't do anything. Thank you, Sheila Pink. So Candace's mom passed too. They were all there, except for Don. Don was at work. That was confirmed too. See, the facts are conveniently dismissed. The most important facts. Where can these people be accounted for at the time of the disappearance? Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And they're not ruling anything out, which is their way of saying, we're not giving you any information. It's bad enough out there as it is. And that's another thing. What do you think this does? You think this helps law enforcement be more inclined to give us press conferences and updates when all that's going on the internet? Yeah, I mean, he's convinced that she was taken. Okay. Now, how would he know that? I don't know. But that's up to law enforcement to find out, isn't it? Because I'm not an investigator. I'm not an investigative journalist either. The fact that this JLR person calls himself, and they call him a journalistic investigator, is a joke. It's a joke. Listen, this is my perception, okay? This is my perception of things. Okay? Anybody that you have serial killers, okay? Real bad people. Still cowards, right? Still cowards. Real bad people. You know? But dangerous. absolutely dangerous, right? But this dude, he's a serial suer. That sounds funny, but suing in the sense of litigation. He's a serial suer. That's what's under his belt. That's his game. That's his MO. He's a serial suer. I can't think of anything more pathetic than that. I can't think of anything more pathetic than that. Like, and you know he dreams of being this angry, shoot them all up kind of guy because he hangs out with people that are angry, shoot them all up type of people. He hangs out with these type of people. He's proud of it. He sent me a picture basically threatening, doxed my family, and tried to play it off saying, well, I only approached them for comment. No, dude, that's not what you did, because you could have approached me for comment. Why not go to the horse's mouth, man? That's silly. Why not? Why would you go, you know what I'm saying? And put them on and then blast them on Twitter. You're going to blast them on Twitter, right? And your excuse is you wanted them for comment? No. That was just a coward's way of not being able to admit that you were threatening my family. So I mean, so you have a guy like this, and he hangs out with James Holmes or envies him. I don't know if he hung out with him, but he was writing him letters and just totally lumping himself up with him like he was his hero, but never had the guts to do anything himself. Instead, he became a serial suer. I mean, dangerous? Hardly. We're just talking about somebody who doesn't have the balls to be dangerous. That's all. I mean, that's all. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a piece of shit for doing that. That's why he doxed them, because he was hoping that somebody that somehow thinks that he's worth a shit would go out and do something to my family. That was his intention, not to do anything himself, because that's how cowards work. No, he's got nothing but little insecurity issues. You got nothing but insecurity issues, just like every mass shooter, except the difference is they actually had balls enough, at least a little bit, you know. Instead, I'm gonna sue everybody. Serial suer. That's how my man's going down in history, bro. Yo, I'd be embarrassed as hell, yo. I would be like hiding under a rock for the rest of my life if my claim to fame was being a serial suer. I mean, I would just be. I wouldn't be able to like show my face nowhere. Yeah, he shows his face everywhere. And even like, it's so funny how cowardly it is. Like, it's so funny how cowardly it is, because earlier today, and I sent the screen recording to Crude AF, and hopefully we'll be doing something soon. But I sent the screen recording of Crude AF to Crude AF of Molly Golightly looking at a dox and praising him for sending it. Looking at a dox, admitting that JLR sent her the dox, and him and Blowjob Boob, or whatever the hell her name is, they they were praising him for it. And then they were it's like she realized what she was doing for a second and just poorly tried to somewhat disassociate herself with her without actually making him mad, because she's clearly afraid of him for some reason. Makes no sense to me. But she was like, yeah, I wish I could ask him questions. I wish somebody would ask him questions that I'm afraid to ask. Like, what were you thinking in this video that I saw? Like, admitting that the whole crap that we've been showing is something to be concerned about. All the videos that this dude was making back in the day that we were showing, and the pictures that he was taking with people. This is her way of slowly starting to disassociate herself. This is how she works. Trying to keep her image clean when it's not. Trying to keep her image clean. You know what I mean? Like, and acting like it was her way of basically explaining to her audience. It was pretty slick, but I saw right through it. But it was her way of disassociating herself with him to a certain degree in her audience. Like, I'm not responsible for anything this guy does. I don't want to be associated with him if he does something, because I want to ask him, what were you thinking when you did this other stuff? That sends the message to where she can later go, no, I don't approve of that. It's smart enough to fool her audience. It's smart enough to fool her audience. Yeah. Like, she was bragging about it. She's like, it's got everything in here but his social security number. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. That puts that guy in direct danger, in physical harm, in potential physical harm. That's not okay. There's nothing about that that's okay. I mean, I could play that for you if you want. I have it right here.
What? Oh, gosh. I'm not even be able to keep up what's going on. Tell me. Oh my God. More BS. Then when he wants to find somebody, holy
He'll
crap.
find you.
He's got everything but the social security number right in my face.
Yep. Don't, I'm telling you, people don't understand when I say we have one of the best teams in this industry. I really, truly believe that. We have one of the best web sleuths.
Shut up, stupid.
Ever.
Kaylee.
And we are all very lucky to call him friend.
Well, you are, because you're a racist asshole too.
ADHD. Who cares about ADHD? I don't. Wow. Wow. Holy shit.
And he got that. How long did it take him to get that? 2 seconds?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
2 seconds. 2 freaking seconds. Boom. All right, schedule time as soon as possible.
Look at how proud they are.
And your address is still not on Amazon.
It should be. All right, let's see what kind of. They should have sent me a text message. What is my
Who's
phone?
this Ion Entertainment? I don't know Ion Entertainment. I mean, this is how dirty these people are, man. Like, these are just bad people. It's just that simple. If you support them, then you're a bad person too, and you're just not even aware of it. Because they think they're doing good by giving money. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, points with God. No, you have no points with God for that. Because somebody could seriously get hurt. Somebody could seriously get hurt. And they just don't seem to care. And it's almost like they want it to happen because only somebody with common sense would know this. I mean, not to say that they have common sense, but I mean, if you're smart enough to try to deny it, which they do, they try and deny it. And they give some ridiculous explanation for their actions. And then their listeners just take it. Yeah, I've got words. I agree with you. Right. Because these are coward people, man. These are cowards. People who can't do anything themselves. So my next move is to contact the TBI. That's my next move. Yeah, I mean, it's insane to me that there are people that are so invested in making this case more difficult to be solved, and yet saying that the only thing they want is for this case to be solved. That's nobody uses their eyes, man. Nobody in that community does. Nobody in that community does, man. Hey, Fanta. Same to you. They're doxing. They're doxing a guy named Ion Entertainment. I mean, I ain't doing nothing. Let's take a look and see who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is, so I'm gonna check out his channel real quick. All right. Oh, he's live right now. I hope he doesn't mind. Let's see what this dude has to say.
Because that was in my backyard. So I
Oh, wow.
hundreds, thousands of kids killed.
We left. There's another case we gotta get to.
Who?
Lena Kill.
Right.
I
That
have-
was gonna. Well, yeah, exactly. But I didn't have her.
It's okay.
In there because we were gonna compare these guys. But yeah, go ahead.
I have an article if you don't mind. It's from a day ago. I'm gonna put this out there. Another sad story, guys. Just
So to me,
3-year-old disappeared from a playground.
it looks like he's just
ago.
focused
She's still
on
missing.
spreading information on missing kids.
Nearly 90,000 people
Wow, what a bad
were
guy.
reported missing in the United States last year. About one
I don't
third
think
of
he's
them
gonna mind. I don't think he's
juveniles,
gonna strike
according
me.
to data from the FBI. Those statistics received renewed attention this summer when the disappearance of 22-year-old Gabby Petito dominated news and social media and prompted soul searching about the disproportionate attention paid to missing white women. And there was a
Like,
hashtag going around, missing white women.
they dox this guy?
And how the media kind of is
Am I
essentially
on the right
behind
channel?
in San Antonio, the Afghan committee.
Well, he's obviously special
at the
needs of
Islamic
some
Center
sort.
where
And I don't mean that in an intelligence
Lena's parents are
type thing.
members,
He's
has been
obviously
checking
somebody
on the
who's
couple and
struggling with
acting,
something already and trying to
as
do some good with
interpreters
himself.
in their conversations with police and others. Michael Martin, a spokesman for the center, told the Washington Post, Kill visited one of the mosque's prayer services on Friday and thanked
Dude, I'm so
community
mad right
members
now.
for their support. The congregation prayed for Lena's safe return, Martin said, and members greeted Kill one by one after the
They
service.
were laughing about doxing this guy. They were laughing about
let's see
it.
here. Most community members who immigrated from Afghanistan are intimately familiar with tragedy after living in the war-torn country. Martin said, now some fear that a different kind of
Dude, I'm
danger
so mad right
awaits
now.
them in their new home.
Like, is this guy
They're
trying to
coming
get
here
me
thinking that
to hurt him?
things are going to be better.
I mean, I'm not going to
And
do it, but it's like,
for the most part, they are way
do
better,
they have
Martin said.
no boundaries? Do they
But
have
they've gone from one area that you have to be on guard.
Okay, I'm going to
to
share
another.
this video in his chat.
This
I'm
little
going to
girl disappeared
I want
from the
everybody
playground,
to.
is what happened. I'm thinking I'll probably get to it here. It says Kill told KENS 5 that Lena may have been abducted. Otherwise,
I
he
don't
said,
know if he's blind. I don't
one
know
of the
what
families in San
his
Antonio's Afghan community probably
condition is.
would know where she was.
I mean, he clearly has one regarding his
Police
eyes.
said they are treating Leah's
but
disappearance not
I'm not going to keep making a
as an
show
abduction.
out of the guy. I'm glad I checked, but I left the link to that video so that you guys can watch it, because he's obviously doing some good, and he's obviously giving information on a 3-year-old little girl that's missing. And he's not focused on drama at all. Like, at all. He's not focused on doing anything but doing what he set his channel up to do. Now, I did kind of set up my channel to call out people like this. So, yeah. Right. I mean, they were bragging about this guy's sleuthing skills. Like, he's only got 1,000 subscribers. He has like 1.5 thousand subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, I can't even find the words because I'm trying not to cuss. But how low of an excuse for a human being can you possibly be to pick on this guy? He's not a threat to you in any way, shape, or form. How many people did he have? I got to look and see how many people he has watching. $13 people watching. He's got a whopping 13 people watching him right now. And they went out of their way to dox this guy. What kind of possible threat could he have served them? Could he have presented to them? I don't understand it. I'm trying to understand the rationale that these people would have for bullying this guy. Like, they need to go to jail. Like, these people need to go to jail. I wonder if this guy is I hope he's not one of those guys that are just so nice that he's just like, whatever, I'll let it go, and I'm just going to keep on my content. Hopefully he's keeping on his content, still trying to build this channel, but behind the scenes is building a case against them. Hopefully he's the wrong one to mess with. That's what I'm praying for. Yeah, make sure everybody checks this dude out, because this guy's the real deal. I watched this guy for 3 minutes. Like, every video, look, every video is a different case. Every video is a different case, people. All he's doing is sharing and spreading information, creating awareness. This is all he's doing. I want everybody to subscribe to this guy. Please. I want everybody to subscribe to this guy. This guy, dude, when did this channel start? I don't think it says. But he has over 1,000 videos, dude. He has over 1,000 videos. All of them spreading information on cases, on missing persons cases. And he's blind, and he's focused all his time on trying to create awareness on missing persons. This is This guy is a saint, bro. This guy's a saint. And they doxed him. Molly Golightly, Jonathan Lee Riches, and Bullhorn Betty doxed this guy. Well, Jonathan Lee Riches did. And he sent the dox to Molly Golightly, and she was happy to get it. I have yet to see something that disgusting on YouTube. Dude, Critical K lost her crown. It's gone. He is real crime. Dude is awesome. I can't even I have never ever seen such disgusting behavior on this platform that I am blown away by the links these people have gone. Like they doxed his family too. Bullies. They're borderline terrorists. I don't know if I can talk to. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to say to him. I mean, I'm happy to talk to him if he wants to talk to me, but I don't know what I'm going to say to him. You know what I mean? How do you feel about being doxxed? I already know how he feels about it. Yeah, they were laughing about how easy it was to do. Oh, look at my man in the chat right now. Did I man, I hope I did not interrupt your live. I hope you didn't end it because of me. Are you still live? He is still alive.
And then in it, he started addressing Lori and saying, "Are these your family members?" And then he rattled off some of Lori's family members. Had a screenshot of her picture. Now, in the video that we have, Molly Golightly says, "I have everything in front of me except her social security number." And they were going on about how Jonathan Lee Riches, how they go to him for doxing people.
Okay, hi Lori, welcome.
Very clearly.
I hope he doesn't mind me. You guys are okay with me streaming him right now because I want people to hear this.
That it was stated that that not only does he dox the people that they ask him to, but he also brings them information about their family members.
Yeah, he did that to me. He shared mine on Twitter.
Afterward, but we have that video where those statements are made. It's a bunch of crap, and I'm going to be as professional about this as possible. But they are low down, horrible, despicable individuals.
Yeah, man.
For what they did to Lori. And then at the end of it, it said, "Is Mr. Cole the blind guy who's harassing me? Does his family know?" And they were putting these veiled threats out there about contacting our families. My mom is in the hospital with COVID-19 right now. If you reach out to my mom, she'll say you probably did something to deserve it. So you leave our families alone.
Yeah, this don't need to be brought to real life, situation, threats and doxing and things like that. What is that going to do? What did that have to do, that email? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to put my nose in it because that's what I do.
You go for it.
But what does that have to do with Summer Wells?
Exactly.
Thank you.
What was her name in the subject line of that email for?
For an attention getter?
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on a second.
That's wrong on all kinds of levels.
Hang on a second.
What's
I
up?
just want to say hey to the chat at the glare. I'm in the chat over there talking to them.
Gotcha.
Yes. Hey, what's up?
And thank you for all the subscribers coming in over there. I am going to say, though, I'm definitely not a saint. I'm a very flawed person.
We all are, dude.
I think we all have backgrounds. We all have backgrounds.
We all do.
We've been sinners. We've been saints. We've been sinners. We've been saints.
We're all sinners.
And exactly, we were born that way.
Yeah. Just
And
some of us choose not to do it.
Exactly.
As much.
But I mean, that has nothing to do with Summer Wells. That's your personal family.
Right.
Just everybody. I just beg everybody to put their heart in the right spot. Put your heart in the right spot, and don't. It don't have to come to this level.
This is my thing. Okay, mafias go after people's families, not people who are trying to help.
Cowards too.
I'm just going to state it and be very blunt there. And no, I am not just sitting here like I'm just a keyboard warrior and crap. I would say it to the individuals' faces as well. That is mafia cult mentality. I've seen it. Like I've mentioned before about what I was involved with. There was a man who left one of those supposed churches because he disagreed with what they were teaching, and they called his work, and he lost his job over it. That is mafia mentality.
Hey, Saint, don't ask silly questions in here like that. Why the hell would I direct anybody where this guy's info's been put out? Come on, man.
And, like I said, if everybody's in it for the right reason, it shouldn't have even come down to that. That had nothing to do with Summer Wells. No, I did not see the email.
I want to know what he did that justified to them that they should dox him. I'd like to know what their reason was.
It's just uncalled for. I mean, we don't need this kind of hatred. Nobody does. But, it is what it is. But, the threats have got to stop.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to be.
No, you know what? You got that Southern Tennessee fire. Let it out. Just let it out.
I do. I do.
Lori, you okay if she lets that Tennessee fire out? What? What, beautiful?
Oh shoot! I guess I was muted.
No, you okay if she lets that Tennessee fire out?
Sure.
All right, and then let it explode. Then.
I'm just gonna tell you, and if you want to do, if you want to do doxing, if you want to do something, go to my little 50 or 60 subscriber channel over there, okay? Because I don't have any videos on it. I don't have anything over there on it. I haven't even got into my stuff yet because my stuff is on conspiracy theories. This is not about real life. Even though conspiracy theories can be, but this is real life, okay? This is my neck of the woods. This is where I live. This is where I was raised, okay? And
so did I.
You can find some very nice individuals and you can find some very mean individuals. But most of us is barefoot country folk, okay? And we live in the hollers. That ain't what y'all call it. I know that. Y'all might call it the hollows. No, it's the hollers here. And most of the time, you're going to find us in the wintertime in sandals, and our feet might be a little black. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Hell, you might find a you might find a barefoot pregnant woman. Who knows? But you know what? These are our neck of the woods. Please don't come down here with your threats. Nobody.
That's
come
right.
down here to help.
That's right.
If you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. If there's something I can help you do, I'll be glad to help you do anything.
Now, so what? So what if they use Olivia's content? She was up there, Bullhorn Boobs is up there talking about how fair use, that we got fair use wrong, that they can absolutely strike these channels, including mine, for the content that we've been sharing. And no, they can't, because it is fair use. She said you can only use up to 19 seconds of it. That's ridiculously wrong, by the way, because I could tell you, all you got to do, go ask Critical K what happened when she struck me. Go ask Critical K what happened when she struck me. That is if you can get a hold of her, because she doesn't have a channel anymore. Because all these things piled up. Her false flagging me along with all kinds of terms of service violations, which is exactly what Molly Golightly does. All kinds of terms of service violations. And Big Juicy's going to find her ass out on outside the YouTube streets. outside the border of YouTube, not being able to come back. She keeps it up. So yeah, you keep false flagging people and you keep doxing people, and you'll see exactly what ends up happening. And I'm going to sit up here and laugh. I would never enjoy that more. And I won't do anything to get her kicked off. I won't do one thing to get her kicked off other than try to convince people that this and show people what kind of a person and what kind of a channel that is. That's all I'm going to do. Because that's all I did with Critical K. Make no mistake about that. That is all I did.
First of all, dude, yep, I'm blind, but my eyes are wide freaking open.
I love it.
You don't
man.
have to see to be able to see.
I love it. My
but
man's still
what
using
I'll
his
say,
eyes.
And I'm sorry if I cut you off on. Just tell me to shut up. Okay.
No, I didn't. I was done.
Okay. What I want to say is I took a look into your content, yc.news. There are some places online that say that they are not a credible source. And from what I saw, their former president, there was some scandal going on involving his parole. And this is the news corporation that was being worked for. Doesn't seem credible and legit, in my humble opinion.
Oh my, get the shovel out. Let's dig. Let's dig. Get those shovels out. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and put y'all's sunglasses on. It might get a little hot. We might need to throw some shade. So put them on. So,
Sunglasses activated.
I'm just through with this dumb shit. I'm through with it. And my offer does stand for Don and Candace, and I will personally get a hold of them tomorrow, and I will try my damnedest, and I'm going to tell them any trespassers, and I'm not saying anybody individually. I'm saying any. I will personally fork the money for you to press charges if you do not feel safe in your home, because nobody should have to not feel safe in their home.
Yep.
Period. I don't care what you do. I don't give a damn what you do in that home. It's nobody's business.
Safe in my home.
And I'm sure you're not.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not right now.
Well, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm worried about Lori because we're 1,300 miles apart. She's a single mom. I am a blind single dad taking care of 2 kids, and we got these veiled threats by this jerk. I will defend my home if I have to, and I know Lori will too. But those when MGL on that live, which we have downloaded, it has been hidden. But she said, I have everything but her social security number in front of me right now. And then when it said, oh yeah, we go to JLR for our doxing, and not only does he dox people, but he brings us information about their families. Watch out, guys.
I mean,
watch the heck out.
I wish I would have screen recorded that.
I always feel like I ain't even gonna
I'd
sing
love to
because I
hear
can't.
that. I'd love to hear them say that.
My thing, but you know what? This is bullshit. Everybody should feel safe in their own home, and it's bullshit. And you notice in their video, I'm just gonna say it.
Go for it.
You know me. Did you notice how they stood back and let her do the trespassing and instructed her to do, and then got on to her after the fact? Don't be telling people you're recording them. Don't do that. Don't do that. What was that about?
Yeah, it was messed up, right?
Agreed.
Right.
See, harassing involves
I don't think I have the
stalking,
email.
Bullying.
Let me see.
And there was some cyber stalking going on.
I got to turn this off for a second. I don't think I have the bullying or the email. Let me look real quick. But I got an email from somebody named Allie. Hey, my friend, I am new to your channel and I love it. I am reaching out because I am very moved by Ion Entertainment Network and how they were another target of this nasty game they are playing with the strikes and threats. Also, Chad threw in the blind guy, among other shitty things. I like to call JLR Chad, if you guys don't know. I thought you'd be interested in it. It might be of help. I have never sent an email about this circle of fools. Today I am. Thanks for taking the time to read this. And if you will check the live Ion has up today. Also, hello from Middle Tennessee. Thanks again, Sugar Magnolia. Oh, that's Sugar Magnolia. Oh, I want her up here. Okay, hold on a second. You all got to see something. Okay, now Burnt Toast shared this video yesterday. I like this lady. I like her a lot. I was expecting an email from her because I commented asking her for her email because I want her up here. Not tonight though. We're gonna have to schedule something. Actually, I want her up here when I have Burnt Toast and Crude AF up here. Hold on. Slow ass computer, man. All right. It's gonna be a while because I went through a lot. I gotta find it. It's so funny. I'm seeing all these. Oh, no, wait. That's not her. That's not her. Okay, this is a different. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait to show this when Toasty's up here. It's not her. It's somebody else. But it was still a very sweet email. And yes, I'm do this for just a few minutes longer, guys.
And we will continue to always do this. I think it's fun. I don't care if we have one person. I don't care if we have none. Because we do this anyway. So why not? But I mean, you never know when I just might hit that button in the middle of the night and go, okay, I'm ready to get started. I might just wake up and, like I said, have a stick stuck in my ass and ready to just let it out. So, but my channel's going to be more about, like I said, the conspiracies and things like that that's going on, and that will tie in with missing children and stuff like that as well. I'm not into challenging any channels or anything like that. I'm not about that. But
I am.
I'm.
I am.
Hey.
You and that's the thing is, I don't even. And I don't even listen. I'm going to wrap this up with this. Like, when it comes to channels that I only call out channels that interfere with investigations, that throw nasty accusations at people and could be very wrong for doing so. That's it. If you get on my radar, it's because you did some real dirty stuff. And you're potentially affecting something that I have recently become passionate about. That's my story. That's it. I mean, like, these people talking about that there's some sort of investigative team is a joke. Oh, my man John has COVID. Man, are you referring to John Crimes, Val? Okay. Just making sure. Yeah. So big shout out to John Crimes, man. That's my friend right there, man. He's been a good friend throughout this this YouTube journey. I want to be careful that I don't minimize how I refer to him at all, because he's he's been very helpful to me, and very supportive. Um, and he's even questioned me when, when it came to something that he heard, uh, and questioned himself as far as whether he should be associated with me or not. And I understand that, and I don't blame him for it. And whatever decision he's made, that's his decision to make. It's something that I've explained on here many times and have made right, as a matter of fact. And that is according to the people that were affected by what I did. And I have spent 3 years making it right. So, and I know that this stuff isn't something that John likes at all. And I saw that he was going to go live soon. Now, I don't know what he's going to go live about. Might not have anything to do with this, but I look forward to seeing what he's going to do, because I haven't seen him do anything in a while. John's a single dad and he works real hard. So, oh, stop it, Julie Witcherman. But yeah, John sent me a lot of people back in the day. He sent me a lot of people. There's actually a lot of people, and some people that I don't even talk to, that helped me build this channel. Hell, even MGL helped me build this channel at one point. I paneled up with her one time, and we actually had a nice conversation back then. I didn't really know who she was, but she had an open panel, and I got on there and we talked, and I got a few subscribers from that conversation. Now, here's the thing. I love when people are like, well, you wouldn't have a channel if it wasn't for me. Because we've heard that song before. You know what I mean? But guess what, man? I mean, that's the thing. Like, that just proves how you look at subscribers as numbers. I look at them as supporters. There's a huge difference, because people who have subscribed to me and stayed subscribed have shown me support for one reason, and one reason alone: because the things that I say resonate with them. They're here because of me, not you. And that's it. Oh, 70? It was only 60 earlier. I guess I lost some people, but that's all right. Let me check that number one more time. Yeah, I lost a couple, but not a lot. But that's the thing. Now, do I want to hit 10K by the end of the month? Absolutely, which is really in 2 more days. 2 more days, and that's it. But you think that I'm not going to be absolutely grateful and happy that I have the subs that I have? You think that that's somehow going to disappoint me to the point to where I'm like, oh, what the hell? Nah, I'm going to be like, oh, I tried. I tried. And that was simply to hit a goal, to do something positive, to set a positive goal for myself. And by doing that, it's to give you guys the best content that I could possibly give you. And the way that I do that is I do it because I'm passionate about having the people that I already have with me. And that's it. I mean, there's no other there's no other explanation. There's no other way to put it. So I am grateful for every single one of you guys. And I love you guys very much. And I'm going to call it. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.